Hello there, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're here, hi, my name is Samantha, as I just said, and this is my channel where I talk all about books. Anyway, today I'm coming to you with sort of like a reaction video, I guess. I'm not actually going to be like reacting to the video that I filmed a couple years ago because I don't think that would be very interesting, but I'm going to be like reviewing how that video went. That's a really weird way to try and explain it. Let me just tell you what I'm doing today. Back in the summer of 2018, I made a 5-star prediction video of 5 books that I thought I would love and rate 5 stars. So it took me 2 years, but I finally read all the books that I needed to read to then react to that video and let you know if I did rate everything 5 stars. And so that's what this video is going to be. I'm finally going to be telling you if I rated all the books 5 stars or not. Let's get into it. I can first of all tell you I did not rate everything 5 stars. I'm going to go in order of rating instead of the chronological order. So I'm just going to go from the one that I rated the lowest and the one that I rated the highest. So the book that I enjoyed the least out of those 5 that I chose was The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. I ended up giving this book a 3.75 out of 5 stars, and I did enjoy my time reading it, but this just definitely was not like a top tier book. Like this was just, it was good, but like not a new favorite or anywhere near. This book follows our main character, Lady Helen. It is set in the 1800s in London, and basically Lady Helen is, her main worry is finding a husband and being like proper, because she in the past has gotten a bit of trouble for not behaving as a lady should back in those times. But with the arrival of Lord Carlston, she realizes that actually the reason that why she's not your average lady is because she is actually a demon hunter, or what is called a reclaimer. And in this book she is finding out about that whole world of demons and also deciding whether or not she wants to join the Dark Days Club, which is basically the organization which is in charge of making sure that the demons are contained. I enjoyed this book a lot. Like, it was a fun time. I definitely had a fun time reading this book, but I just think that this book was quite a slow read, and it wasn't really anything particularly new. Like, this book is very, very similar to The Infernal Devices, and actually I much prefer The Infernal Devices. So I ended up only giving it 3.75 because it was just like nothing special, and like I don't feel any need to continue on with the series, but I did still enjoy it for the most part. I was not correct in my prediction. This was not a 5 star. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this one a lot. I did actually read this book about 2 years ago, so I'm going to struggle to remember this one a bit. But this book basically follows our 3 main characters. They are triplets, and they have all been separated since a young age, and they live in this queendom where basically every however many years a set of triplets is born. They're all females, and only one of them can become the queen, and to become the queen she has to kill her sisters. And they all are born with their own powers. And basically in this book it seems that 2 of the characters don't actually have any powers, and then there's one who is much stronger, so it's very clear that she's going to win. But this is the first book in a 4-book series. I actually haven't continued on with the series yet. I do definitely plan on doing that, but I think it's something I'm going to leave until autumn, because I actually read this book in the summer, which is definitely not the right time to read it. This is a very atmospheric book, very like autumn vibes kind of book, and I read this in the summer, which I think is part of the reason why I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. And then also it's a very slow book, and I read it during a readathon, which is obviously not the right time to read it. I don't really have a problem with slow books as long as it's like a slow burn book, like it has a good ending, and this book definitely did. But because it was kind of slow and I definitely read it at the wrong time, I only ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. But I still really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend this series. I'm definitely going to continue on with the series, I think this autumn. That's my plan. The next book on my list is Save the Date by Morgan Matson. This book is a young adult contemporary book following our main character Charlie, I think. Again, I read this book about 2 years ago, so I don't really remember. She's the youngest of 5, and all of her siblings are coming together one last time in their childhood home for her oldest sister's wedding, and it's right before her parents are going to sell her house. And basically it's kind of one of those disaster stories where everything that could go wrong goes wrong with the wedding, and a lot of people hate that trope. I actually don't mind that trope. It can be a little bit stressful, which I think a lot of people dislike, but I had a really fun time reading this, and I loved the family dynamics. So I actually ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was cute and fun. It was definitely a book that I wanted to reread, and I still would reread it for sure. But also I read this at a really funny time, like because my sister was getting married that year, so it was just a really like perfect timing for this book in my life. So yeah, I don't know if maybe I wouldn't enjoy it as much if I reread it, but it was definitely my favorite Morgan Matson book to date. I enjoyed it. My next 5-star prediction was Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Dark Artifices series. I'm not going to go into what this book is about because basically I'm sure you know what the whole Shadowhunter deal is, but if you don't, it started with the Mortal Instruments, then we had the Infernal Devices, then we had the Dark Artifices, and now we have, what's it called? What's Chain of Gold part of? Oh, The Last Hours? I'm the worst. Anyway, there's basically so many series set in the same world, and I can't really talk about this without spoiling the other series. So if you haven't read any of them, start with the Mortal Instruments, or just don't. it's up to you. But yeah, I really enjoy the Shadowhunter world, so if it's something that seems interesting to you, it's about demon hunters and there's lots of just angst and funny characters and just great action sequences. I love it. I am Shadowhunter trash. I am a little bit behind, but I will be getting caught up soon-ish. But yeah, as I said, this is the first book in the Dark Artifices series. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars when I first read it, but I think I bumped it up to a 5. And I think my rating for the whole series went like 5 for Lady Midnight, 4 for Lord of Shadows, and a 3 for Queen of Air and Darkness. It was definitely my least favorite. Actually, my least favorite Cassandra Clare book that I've read to date. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a fantastic introduction to a series, and I loved a lot of the characters, but my issue with this series is that I do not like the main 2 characters particularly. Well, actually, no. I love the main character, Emma, but I do not like the relationship between the 2 main characters. That's my issue with this trilogy, but I'm still Cassandra Clare trash, so you know how it is. And the actual only full 5-star book from this 5-star prediction video was Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. This was my favorite book of last year. Absolutely adored it. It follows our 2 main characters, Safia and Iseult. One of them is a thread witch and the other one is a truth witch, and I've forgotten in which order they are. I really need to reread it so I can continue on with the series. But this book follows those 2 characters, and basically at the beginning of the book they get into some trouble and they are being chased by a blood witch, which is basically kind of like, I feel like it's called a bloodhound. Is that what it's called? Like a dog that like can sniff out scents and stuff like that. I feel like it's like that. Gives me those sorts of vibes, except actually it's a witch and he is hunting them down. Oh, I just love this. There's also a wind witch involved. There was a hate to love romance. There's a very strong female friendship, and I loved it. It was so amazing. It was a bit of a slow one to get into, but once I got into it, I could not stop reading. I loved it, and I really do want to continue on with the series, but as I said, I want to reread the first one before I continue, just because I read so much fantasy that things get messed up in my head sometimes. So I want to like get all of the books and then sit down and read all the way through. I wasn't the most successful in this 5-star predictions. I did, however, rate 4 out of 5 of them a 4 or higher, so I think that's pretty successful. I still predicted a lot of books that I really enjoyed, even though they weren't exactly 5 stars. I did actually do another one of these in December, so if you want to see 10 more books that I thought I would rate 5 stars, I will link it up in the card. I forgot which side it is, but I will say I'm actually doing a lot worse on that one than I am on the one that I just reacted to, but I've only actually read 3 out of 7 of those books, so once I've finished the other 7, I will come back to you and let you know how I did on the other ones, but so far I'm not doing too great. Let me know if you like these 5-star prediction videos. I really enjoy watching them. I love seeing if you're correct in your predictions. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below, and I will have another video for you soon, so I'll see you then. Bye!